Yo, we in the building. You already know what it is. Saturday Sports Talk. We are in the house, literally, right? Saturday pop-up shop type vibe. Yada Bear is on a mission. All right, she's got a situation she's dealing with. Salute to Yada Bear. You know what it is. You know what we do down in Sports Talk. You know what it is. Little pop-up shop type vibe. I wanted to talk about. Oh, left-handed piece was good. Um, I wanted to get into a little bit about this Javante Tank Davis thing. Now, myself and with a lot of other people are feeling like, Tank is playing himself. And that's what it is. Quite literally, he's playing himself. Um, we used to talk about, and I say used to, talk about how a Tank Davis fight was an event. Tank Davis was, young, up and coming, undefeated under the Floyd Mayweather thing and all that connection, right? But the kid was knocking people out. You know what I mean? We already know the litany from Leo Santa Cruz to Ryan Garcia, Hector Luis Garcia. We know the vibes, right? Um, the Lamont Roach fight changed everything for Tank. But I think a lot of stuff was changing for Tank before the fight, right? He was getting into situations outside of the ring, um, which he had been getting into before. So again, this is turning into a pattern for him, right? And people used to say, well, give him the benefit of the doubt. He's going to do his thing in the ring. You know what I mean? Handle your business. Don't be in those situations that you find yourself in. All right. As long as you handle that, we want to see you in the ring on a Saturday night against somebody, knocking somebody's block off. Right now, since there's a little chink in the armor now, that Lamont Roach fight was really a tough fight for Tank. You ask a lot of people. Some people may say that he lost that fight. He actually took a knee. You know what I mean? So that discussion neither here nor there. But what really kills the vibe for me personally, and I'm speaking about for me. I'm not talking about from nobody else, not from you. You know what I mean? Whichever your opinion is, that's what it is, and I respect it. So hopefully you will respect mine or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I think Tank Davis' career is circling the drain. Sink drain, the toilet drain, the bathtub drain, the shower drain, the street corner drain, whatever you want to call it. It's circling that. And it's his fault. It's his fault. It's so many fights out there that he can make. And maybe about a year ago at this time, a year and a half ago at this time, Tank was calling all the shots. You know what I mean? At parties with party signs talking about sign the contract, Shador. Or excuse me, Shador Stevenson. Yeah, Shakur Stevenson. Signed the contract. You know what I mean? Now Lamont Roach is making party signs about Tank is ducking. So I think, with the announcement of this Jake Paul exhibition event coming up on November the 14th, um, Tank has lost a lot of cachet, a lot of lusters off his name, a lot of respect. I'll just say it like that. And for me, I can't speak for nobody else, but I'll just speak for me. I feel the same way about Tank now that I feel about Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson used to be a mythical figure. Now he's a punchline, a joke. Because if you was really about your career and about your legacy and about your standing in support of the people who supported you, you'd have never took that Jake Paul fight. Never. Because you was already, you already had, you're Mike Tyson. You already had other interests going on. Podcasts, you know what I mean, other entrepreneur, situations. So you didn't need that. So for Tank to all of a sudden, in the prime of his career, it's not like he's older, you know what I mean, or he's doing it to kind of cash in on a memory type vibe. No. You did this, and this is strictly from my opinion, once again, to avoid having to fight Lamont Roach again, or putting the battery in the back of a Devin Haney or a Shakur Stevenson. You give these guys all types of ammunition now to throw stones at you. And what you going to do about it? You're going to brag that you made $40 million fighting an exhibition? That's not an exhibition. That's a money grab. You want to know what an exhibition is? A boxing exhibition is George Foreman fighting 5 dudes in one night. That's an exhibition. YouTube it. George Foreman fights 5 guys in one night. YouTube it. Matter of fact, it's on the Down in Sports page. So again, Tank, man, I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say. Is there a comeback after this? I don't know, because usually the dudes who take these Jake Paul fights are either out of the game, past their prime, you know what I mean, and they're just coming back to get some bread. So is that what you're doing, Tank? Javante, Tank Davis, is that what you're doing? Just snatching some bread, because now you know the real boxing situation. Either the game is caught up to you, or you done got so relaxed and caught up in your vibe that you don't even want it no more. And again, I get it, because you said that. Tank has said it out of his own mouth. Once he hits a certain point, he's not even going to want it no more. And maybe he's there now. Who knows? Because to me, the only way he would take a fight of this, I'm not magnitude, no, stature, whatever, is that you're going to, just want to scoop up a whole bunch of money at one time and leave your legacy. Throw your legacy out the window. Whatever legacy it was, throw it out the window. And that's all your fault. It's not us. It's not the boxing media. It's not, and it's none of that. It's you. So however you figure on fixing that out, you can talk crazy all you want, and this is not the third. But what I know is that there are mad fights out there waiting for you that you not all of a sudden have no interest in. All of a sudden. Before the Lamont Roach fight. Before the Lamont Roach fight, it was a lot of fight. You was talking real greasy about what you want to do and your legacy and whoop-de-whoop. Now that Lamont Roach pulled your card, now you're falling back. So I mean, it's on you, man. How you choose to get it is on you, and get it how you live. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of people out here that's disappointed, and your legacy is taking a shot. And I don't mean a shot of Hennessy. So again, do what you do. Making people wait. You're not really on that stature where you're a once a year type fighter. You're not there. As bad as you want to think you're there, and in your mind that you're that dude, not really. I'm a staunch supporter, a staunch proponent of Tank Davis, absolutely. But stuff like this will make your staunchest supporters kind of look at you side-eyed. Like, what are you doing? And then the only excuse that you could come up, the only reasoning, I'm not going to call it an excuse, the only reasoning you could come up with is that $40 million is I'm getting $40 million. That's cool. But a cat like myself is not really interested in hearing about your legacy or what you do for boxing. You do nothing but turn it into a clown show. And now we have to put your name in the mix of all of that clown show and garbage and nonsense and BS. And that's something that I didn't think that would be on my bingo card. Javante Tank Davis' name attached to a bunch of nonsense and BS in boxing, helping the game move backwards instead of advancing the game. How are you helping the game move forward by taking this alleged exhibition fight? How? Right? And anybody who's rocking with Tank and believes that this is a great move for him, explain that to me on how this is moving the game of boxing forward. How? Right? There's a fight coming up in a few weeks. Actually, it's closer than we think right now. September 13th. Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford. You know, this is a fight that I would have paid for, but thanks to Netflix, we don't have to pay for it. You know what I mean? So, but I'm looking forward to it. We'll probably talk about it on the show coming up the next couple of weeks. Shout out to Yada Bear. She's dealing with something. Salute. Yeah, man. So I just wanted to tap in real quick, man, and talk some stuff, man. Kind of wanted to put my opinion in on Tank Davis and where I thought his situation is as it stands right now. He's one of the dudes that could be a shining light, and people like to call him the face of boxing. And listen, I can't see it. I don't know who the hell the face of boxing is. It's a whole bunch of pretenders and cats perpetrating the fraud, and they got these alleged personas, and they talk greasy and all that. Nah, that ain't the face of boxing. The face of boxing is someone who boxes, someone who's out there, someone who you see perform. You fight, and then you don't fight for a year later, we forget about you. Then you do this big rollout, like, oh, this is going to be the biggest fight since the last biggest fight. I'm not buying that no more. And thanks to certain people, we don't have to buy it no more. Right? So it behooves you boxer dudes, if this is your sport and you love it, and you want to have a legacy, and you're chasing Floyd Mayweather, and you're doing all this fly stuff, then wouldn't it behoove you to work your craft, prove your point? There's so many dudes out there, especially in the lower weight classes, that can make a claim that they're the best out there. Some took L's, some have not. But how am I going to put a Gervonta Davis name in the mix when he out here fighting fake fights? Either you all the way in it or you not all the way in it. And fighting a fake fight is not all the way in it at all. And I'm just waiting to want to speak to one of those boxing aficionados that say that this is a good thing. It's definitely a good thing for Gervonta Davis. Absolutely. It's a good thing for Gervonta Davis, right? And it's a good thing for Jake Paul. Because, again, he's getting his name out there without having to really do the work. You claim that you train, but it's an exhibition fight. How much damage can really get done? It's an exhibition fight. And then who are you to say that, where'd you come from to all of a sudden want to fight Gervonta Tank Davis? To get a fight with Gervonta Tank Davis. This is so cartoonish to me. And again, I'm not beholden to nobody. I can say what I want to say. It ain't nobody going to say nothing, and ain't nobody going to do nothing. Because we're not beholden to nobody. All of this is a big cartoon, And then they will tell you with their chest stuck out and say it with full autonomy, right, that they're doing it for the money. They don't talk about their legacy no more. Your legacy's out the window. Your legacy is rolling down the street. So, and somebody, if you feel like I'm saying something wrong, please holler at me so we could definitely have a discussion. Because I would like to hear the other side. I would like to hear somebody defend this. Like, this is a good thing. Like, you're going to be able to say, oh, okay, I'm going to go out here and fight this fake fight, and then I'm going to come back and fight real fights. It don't add up. That math is not adding up at all. Period. Can't respect you. Who has fought exhibition fights and then come back to fight a sanctioned fight? They had so many rules and dramatics in that Tyson Paul fight. Like, knock it off. Knock it off. So you trying to sell me on this is supposed to be an exciting event that I'm supposed to, whatever I got going on November 14th, I'm supposed to cancel that? So to watch these two clowns have a fake Batman fight? Nah. I hope I got something going on November 14th, just so I can say I'm not interested. I got something else to do. I can watch the highlights. You know why? Because everybody's gonna be talking about it like it's a thing. It's not really a thing. It's a money grab, right? It's a circus. So again, y'all can have that. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm not missing nothing. I've seen the exhibitions before, right? We gas these things up, and then they turn out to be a flat tire. Then everybody gets mad. And then even from the network side, you remember the fight kept blinking out. It kept going out. Well, I watched the whole thing. I was good. But this is what you get. You draw all the people in, and then you tell them, oh, we're sorry. It was beyond our control. What kind of nonsense they gonna throw at you on November 14th? Because to me, in my opinion, the fight won't be the biggest thing. It'll be something else. So we could, I guess, in my opinion, and this is just me talking, I'm crossing Javante Tank Davis off of my like rankings from respectability and all of that. You can have the money thing. We already know. We down in sports. We know already that it's coming from a monetary vibe. You know what I mean? Everybody's an entrepreneur. Everybody wants to, have all the money in the world and don't do nothing to defend it. They just say, "Oh, I got paid." Yeah, you did. Peace. I talk to you later. Nobody's interested in being around you or being around your career, right? Because your career is done. You left your career alone to do some sideshow Bob stuff, and that's cool. I said that in the beginning. That's fine. You know what I mean? No qualms with that. It's just that now when you try to come back into the ring and say, "Well, I want to fight this dude. I want to fight that dude," it's like, you stay over there in Hollywood over there with the fake productions and all that good stuff. You stay over there with that. All right. So I just wanted to say that, man, because this is down in sports, and I don't have to kind of like sugarcoat nothing or talk around nothing or feel like I'm a hate. I'm not hating at all. That's not it at all. Nope. I couldn't wait for this Tank Davis and Lamont Roach rematch, so Tank could kind of like prove his point. But nah, somebody ain't want to show up. Now I'll leave that at that. Down in Sports Talk, man, we in the building on a Saturday. Yada Bear is handling the situation. I'm thinking about you, yo, and your fan. Make sure everything's everything. Um, Week 0 in college football starts today, man. I watched a little bit of the Iowa State and Kansas State game. They played in Dublin, Ireland, right, to kind of like set off the college football season. I like what I saw. I mean, if you go to the Down and In Sports page on Facebook, you will see that we put up a couple of write ups about a couple of games. We talked about um, Iowa State and Kansas State. Talked about Fresno State and Kansas today, and later on Stanford Cardinal are going out to play in Honolulu, Hawaii. Right? I feel that teams that always look forward to looking at their schedule and seeing who's playing, who gets to go out to Hawaii for their first game of the season. Hawaii is dope. If you've never been out there, you should experience it. Bring your money bag with you, but Hawaii is very very dope. Iowa State and Kansas State. I talked about on the page. Iowa State's quarterback. Well, they're both two quarterbacks in this game that are pretty good. Pass decent. Decent is for like backup kind of scrubby type dudes. You know what I mean? That have a moment or two. But these guys are Rocco Beck from Iowa State and the kid Avery Johnson from Kansas State actually played a pretty decent game. Rocco Beck 14 to 28 for 183 and two touchdowns, right? And Avery Johnson also a good game, 293 and two touchdowns. So the quarterbacks definitely contributed. But I just like that Iowa State looked like they picked up from last year where they were kind of like handling their business and um, trying to make some noise and a dent in that Big 12 conference. And Kansas State doing the same. So this may have been a preview. You know what I mean? So absolutely now Iowa State has a foot up on Kansas State in the Big 12. And again, this college football season, I think is going to be um, better. I won't say greater. The games will be greater because you look at the names that are playing each other. It's like every week it's a bowl game. Every weekend it's a bowl game. When you look at the names that are playing, like today, Alabama's playing Florida State. You know what I'm saying? Next week we got the return of the convicts. You know what I mean? Against the Catholics, Notre Dame and Miami. These games are usually reserved for like later on in the season or a bowl season. You're gonna get a bowl type game every week, and that's what's gonna make this particular college football season interesting, and the fact that they have again the 12-team playoff. But my thing is, when we talk about this playoff thing, and you know how I do if you rock with Down in Sports, it's like 12 teams in the college football playoff. The team that's going to be most upset when the final standings come out is going to be who? Yup, team number 13. And again, will they have a beef? You know, all of this is a means to an end. If the 13th team screams loud enough, oh, okay, we'll put 16 teams in there next year, right? The NCAA already has math problems. You got 18 teams in the Big 10. You got 16 teams in the Big 12. Like, what's going on? The NCAA already has a math problem, right? And now that the proverbial handcuff or the proverbial hand around the throat of the student athlete has been taken away and smacked, right? Now the NCAA is scrambling, right? And it's actual fact, man, you know, that something that should have been going on a long time ago is going on now. And the only recourse that the NCAA has is to kind of like make these innocuous fines or these innocuous judgments and things of that nature, like with the Michigan thing. Sign stealing, come on, yo. Come on, yo. Sign stealing. That's been a part of every game. And if your signs get stolen, come up with some new signs. And I think the NCAA, you know, went hard in the paint on Michigan. I'm not a Michigan dude by no stretch of the imagination. But for sign stealing, I don't know. This is where we at. This is where the NCAA put themselves in a position to kind of like figure out how we're going to maintain our stranglehold on Division One athletics, because the stranglehold is definitely not there anymore. We have to still show, speaking as the NCAA, we have to still show that we are the be all, the end all to this. There's nothing out there bigger than us. We control this. We dictate what moves. We dictate what doesn't move. Nah, this is 2025. It ain't like that no more, right? The NCAA now made it. They created this space, right? You made it so serious that somebody go out and take their nephew or niece out for a hamburger. That's a violation. Okay, but yet and still, you selling shirts with that same player's name, image, and likeness for $50. And he can't see a piece of that. And the NCAA was living lovely. Living lovely on the excuse that, yeah, we're paying, you know, free room and board and just knock it off. And there was so many ideas that people came up with. I know we got like a little bit of time left, but it's all good. It's so many ideas that people came up with that kind of like supplement or kind of like help out. Because we knew the NCAA was getting the bread. We knew that. And there was no way that they could front and act like they weren't. All these corporate sponsorships, all these bowls being sponsored by you name it, they got a sponsorship for it. If they got a sponsorship for it, they hitting off the NCAA. Period. We came up with the idea. It was like, yo, why don't you, you know, for the kids that make the bowl games, fly their parents down. What's wrong with that? And again, the NCAA wanted to be the monopoly of collegiate athletics, and they didn't want the student athlete to have a leg to stand on. But these coaches would constantly come into these schools and then leave it in 2 years. Come into these schools and then leave it in 3 years. But if a kid decides he wants to go look at another place, he's scrutinized. So now they came up with something called the transfer portal, where you could go to one school and then transfer to a next, willy nilly. Ask the kid from Tennessee, the quarterback. Now he's out on the West Coast now, where now he's got to pay taxes on his NIL money. And these are college students, y'all. This is the future, right? So the NCAA is just kind of like they playing rope a dope right now. They got their hands up like this, right? Trying to figure out a way where they can kind of like keep control, but control is gone. Control is gone. When you got kids making decisions about, okay, it's bowl season now, I decide I'm going to sit out because I'm going to weigh my options because I'm waiting for the next level to go to the NFL. I want to go to the NFL draft. These kids been playing at these schools, and then when they get to a position of, I don't want to say authority, but a position where they're seen, now all of a sudden, it's the next level. They don't want to deal with all of that. But now, where the student athlete is in control, they can wait on the next level. I don't need the NFL right now. I'm making all this money in college. NCAA got to figure it out. The NCAA definitely has to figure it out because they created this monster. They could have just, bit the bullet a long time ago. But they figured that, it wasn't going to, get to this point. And now it's past the point of no return. And every chance I get, I want to salute Ed O'Bannon. Every chance I get. Because he was the one that took all the slings and arrows and people laughing and people talking like he was crazy and it wasn't. No. Salute to Ed O'Bannon, yo. You know what I mean? You stood on your square and you held it down. And this is where we are right now in college football and college athletics all the way around. So let the schools and the NCAA figure out how to slice up those pieces of pie. Because again, there's more to some schools than football, basketball, and baseball. Some schools are top ranked in the country in volleyball or things of that nature. So how are they going to work that out? But anyway, that's not really my problem or anything like that. I just like the fact that I get to talk about it and be like, after all these years, the NCAA finally has to kind of like has their Waterloo, has their bear, they crossed the bear. So again, they'll figure it out. They got a lot of professors and people way more smarter than me. You know what I mean? To figure out how the balance is going to get back into the direction where it could be leveled off. It's definitely not leveled off. It used to be like this. The NCAA was up here, the players was here. Now it's like this. And it's getting wider every day. The chasm is building every day. You know what I'm saying? So they'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Just like we got to figure it out. I said Iowa State over Kansas State today. Iowa State 24, Kansas State 21. Fresno State and Kansas starting in a few minutes. We got Stanford and Hawaii later on tonight. Make sure you check out Down in Sports every Tuesday night from 8 to 9-ish. All right, salute. Y'all the Bears. Salute everybody that rocks with us, man. And we'll talk to y'all, I guess, Tuesday night. Y'all be cool. All right? Down in Sports Talk in the building. We out. Oh, before we get out of here, one more thing. I had a very, very enlightening conversation with my man, Florida boy Jay. We talked for like an hour and a half because, as an older cat, I get caught up in talking about certain topics with people who know what they're talking about, and time just flies. And we had a great conversation, man, and salute to that dude. Make sure you check out his channel, Florida Boy J, on YouTube and all that. Right after you check out Down in Sports on YouTube and all of that. All right, once again, this is Left-Handed, all right, at RMDesk on Twitter, which is this right now. You know the vibes, Down in Sports Talk every Tuesday night, all right? And we'll get at y'all. All right, y'all be peace.